Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting. Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. An affiliate of Direct Impact Broadcasting and Creative Broadcasting, presenting the Empower Hour with Jaresha, a show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The Empower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Welcome to Empower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore. I am a best-selling author with over 18 years of combined experience in education, finance, healthcare, business management, and development, owner and founder of Empower on Purpose, LLC, where we provide leadership training and personal professional coaching and consulting services. Certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, and owner of Envisioned Broadcasting radio station. Today, I want to highlight an upcoming event happening this Sunday, August 4th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. It is an online networking and goal-setting vision board workshop. This is a great workshop to network, connect, and talk about your goals. It's so hard to believe that we're almost 8 months into 2019, but it's not too late to level up and get focused. During the workshop, you will learn a proven framework to help you tap into your true desires and dreams, use those desires to set intentional goals, and then outline an achievable plan. You will also break all traditional goal-setting philosophies during this intro workshop. So register today to enjoy an amazing atmosphere with great vibrations, laughter, fun, while you write your vision with power and purpose. To register and to find out more details, please visit www.empoweronpurpose.com. So today's empowerment quote is, "You were put on this earth to achieve your greatest self, to live out your purpose, and to do it courageously," by Stephen Maraboli. This quote is just simply amazing. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone is destined for greatness and put here to live in their greatness. However, it takes courage to do it. It takes giving yourself permission to step outside of that comfort zone and live in your purpose. You know, that research shows that most of us are spending most of our lives in a career or a job that we don't like, because most of us don't know what we don't know, right? We don't know how to find, believe, and achieve our purpose. What if I told you that it starts with 3 things? Just 3 things. It takes a dream, you believing in you, and work to live in your purpose. If your dream is to one day maybe start your own nonprofit business, every day you should be focusing your dream into a clear, measurable SMART goal that gives you direction you need to succeed. And make sure you remember to think on paper and write down your why or that personal mission statement. Then paint your vision and visualize it every day. And then you have to believe in yourself, in your dream. It truly amazes me just how many of us dream, but we just don't believe in it because of fear, and self-doubt tells us you will fail, or you're not good enough, or you can't do that, or everyone will think you're crazy. Well, yes, you are good enough, and yes, you can do it, and you're not crazy. You're amazing with the side of awesome, and yes, you will fail. Everybody fails, but often we have to fail our way to success and then work. Do your research and due diligence. If you want something, you have to be willing to put in the work, or I like to say the blood, sweat, and tears to get it. Create that list and action plan for your dreams, and understand that it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight or over a weekend. Living in your purpose happens just one step at a time. So without further delay, today my guest is Jade Alycia Weber. A little bit about Jade. Beginning her business ventures with the skill set in fashion, beauty, and interiors, Jade Alycia spent time exploring her personal style while interning at Marquesa, perfecting her artistry skills at Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, and dabbling in interior design working at a local architecture firm, Smith Moran Architect Plus Interiors. As the alumni of Mount Ida College, where Jade first obtained her associate's degree in individualized studies of liberal arts, before continuing her education elsewhere is where her discovery stage became activated. Prior to graduating with a bachelor's in fashion studies from Montclair State University, Jade took a life-changing trip to the city of love, Paris, known for its couture, high-end designers, and impeccable craftsmanship. It was during Paris Couture Fashion Week where she fell in love with the art of couture and the Parisian street style. It was that love at first sight experience that sparked her entrepreneurial spirit, pushing forth the birth of her namesake brand, that is, Jade Alycia Incorporation, in 2016, while simultaneously breaking into the beauty industry, providing freelance makeup services through the conception of her second company, The Glamorous Touch, in 2018. All the while capturing these moments written in her fashion and beauty blog, The Undated Journal, showing followers how to set the trends one post at a time since May of 2018. In March of 2019, Jade relaunched her branding and marketing company, JW Branding Company, where she provides website design, logo creation, and social media success services to businesses big and small. Welcome, Jade. I'm so happy to have you on the show today. How are you this evening?
Hi, I'm doing really well. I'm very excited to share my story with everyone. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So you are truly amazing. Tell our listeners a little bit more about your background and, how you started doing some of the amazing things that you're doing today.
Okay, so I grew up in New Jersey in a single-parent household. I have an older brother and a younger sister. I really started out just drawing. I was always very artistic. I would draw things that weren't even fashion-related, like still life. I really liked ceramics as a child. Any art class I would take first, and also any business class. So in high school, I ended up taking all my art and all of my business courses by my sophomore year. So then I had to take the other courses, which I was kind of upset about. But that really helped me develop all of those skills at first. And that's kind of where I discovered where I really wanted to focus in and do fashion. So I took it upon myself to apply for scholarships in college, which I did receive 3 fashion scholarships to be able to pay for supplies for school and to be able to create collections and different pieces. And I really just zoned in on what I wanted to bring to the fashion industry. And growing up, people always really liked my fashion. They would always really like what I wore and how I styled it and things like that. So I was always looked up to, I guess, in the fashion area. So I just went with that, and I was like, I'm really passionate about this, so now I want to begin to design things. So that's when I would draw what exactly I wanted to design, which would be gowns or shoes. I started to draw anything kind of that I wanted to make, but I didn't really know how to yet because I hadn't attended college yet to show me how to create those things. So in the meantime, I definitely sharpened my drawing skills. And from there, it really just kind of snowballed. I went through college. I got my degree in fashion studies, which is basically a hybrid of fashion merchandising and fashion design. And then once I graduated is when I decided to go ahead and launch my first business, which was Jade Alycia INC. And the Paris trip really kind of pushed me into doing that.
Awesome. So you started your business ventures with a skill set in fashion interiors. Tell us a little bit more about the fashion interiors.
Okay. So in college, I did 2 internships. One was called Puzzle Apparel, and that was a startup, and it was a professor that worked at the college. And she was starting her fashion business, and she really showed me the ins and outs of how to start your business, what you needed, the contacts you needed, who you need to get in contact with, how you can raise money to start your business. She really showed me all of those ropes. And I was extremely grateful for that because it really wasn't a long time. I think it was maybe a 3-month period that I did that internship, but I learned so much. She showed me how to edit the patterns and work with the seamstresses and production and vendors for the materials. And then she also showed me how to launch, which was really important. And at that time, I didn't really know I was going to, I knew I was going to eventually launch my own business, but I didn't really know when it was going to happen. So it's kind of funny how when I was doing that internship, I really had no idea that these steps would be really crucial and that one day I would be doing this sooner than I thought. My second internship is when I interned at Marquesa in New York City. And that was an incredible opportunity because I got to be a part of Fashion Week, their fall fashion week, their bridal fashion week.
Oh, wow.
And they also had another showcase. I was split between the fashion design team and basically like the fabric team. So when I was in the studio, I would help with dyeing the fabrics, sewing different things, doing model fittings, photo shoots, anything that they would need inside the studio, finishing up the dresses right before the show. And then for when I would be out and about in the city, picking up fabric to bring back to the studio, I would be making contact with the vendors, and I really got a chance to get to know all of them, and it was really just a really incredible experience that I would definitely do all over again if I could.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. For the interiors part, I worked at a small architecture firm for about 2.5 years, and there I really learned how fashion and interiors go hand in hand. A lot of the same trends go with interiors and fashion, and so there is where I really developed the interiors. I would be basically the interior designer for their clients, and whatever products they needed, stone, wood, paint, drapes, furniture, whatever it was, I would be the person that would source that for the client to give them 2 or 3 products to pick from and kind of move from there.
Absolutely. How amazing. I heard you say that you were part of the fashion week. Just, that experience alone, I'm sure it was truly amazing.
Yeah, it definitely
was. Absolutely. I think that that's something that, I can imagine that a lot of girls, especially that's wanting to get into that fashion, industry, probably can only, dream of or imagine to be a part of that. So I'm sure that was one truly amazing experience. So when would you say that you discovered you had that entrepreneurial spirit?
I would definitely say in 7th grade, I knew that I was going to have something in design. I was debating between, it's actually funny, I was debating between interior design and fashion design. And I went with fashion because I felt more comfortable in that, and I had more experience because we had different courses where I would be able to sew and make things. So I just felt more comfortable in that. So I would definitely say in 7th grade I knew that I was going to do that.
Awesome. How awesome is that? I mean, to recognize that at such a young age, that's pretty amazing and awesome. So do you feel like you are, truly living in your true calling and passion now?
I would say absolutely yes. I actually think that I'm living in more than my true calling because I would say that not some, but like the jwbranding.co, which we'll talk about in a few, that was not an endeavor that I had planned on. It's something that the Lord really spoke to me and wanted me to do. So I would definitely say, yes, I am living in my true calling and passion and more. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And don't you love those, those opportunities or, those things that are put in place when you said that you didn't recognize that it was something that you were going to be doing, but, of course, God opens up those doors and those opportunities for us to, it may not be a part of our plan, but, certainly when those opportunities come up, it's like, okay, that this is something, that this is your purpose, especially if it comes to you. So that's truly amazing. So tell us more about the Glamorous Touch and what inspired you to start that business.
Okay. The Glamorous Touch is basically my business where I freelance my makeup artistry services to anybody who wants to book me for shoots, just a girls' night out, wedding, makeup, whatever it is that they need. I'm there to supply that for them. And really what inspired me to start this business is while I was attending Montclair State University, there was an opportunity which I had heard a little bit through the grapevine because it's not really defined there. But there was an opportunity that if you had a certain amount of credits and you were either a senior or junior, you could apply to get into this Bobby Brown program that they only had there for Montclair State students, and it was very, very limited. So you basically had to have like very high criteria to be accepted. And going in, I had met with my counselor, and I had told her, like, you know, no one's ever told me about this program, but I researched it and I found it, and I would really be interested in pursuing it to see like if I would get in. And she was like, okay. She's like, you're definitely eligible to apply, but she definitely let me know that, you know, it's very hard to get into. She said, I have a couple of students that have tried to get into it and have been denied from it. So I went forth and I applied to it, and I was accepted. And so I was so extremely excited because this opportunity allows you to actually do the makeup at the Bobby Brown flagship store. So there you get to meet with the staff. Yeah, like you get to meet with the actual Bobby Brown staff, and they work in the city in Fashion Week. And it was funny because when I was at Marquesa, they actually had Bobby Brown do the makeup, so I knew all the makeup artists when they came for Fashion Week, which is really like a home away from home experience. But I took several courses there, and they teach you how to do the makeup the Bobby Brown way, which is very natural, which I was very for, and I always think that every woman should feel naturally beautiful. You shouldn't need to put on a whole bunch of makeup or lashes or anything like that to feel gorgeous, how you are naturally made. So with that, I graduated from the course, and I decided to take those methods and put my little bit of twist on it because I'm a little bit more glamorous. I like a little bit more sparkle. Bobby Brown is very, very, very natural, so I wanted a little bit more of a sparkle to it, a little bit more like personality to the makeup, and that's what inspired me to create a freelance service where people could book me for parties, birthday parties, whatever they needed, whatever the occasion was to do their makeup. So that's how that started.
Absolutely. Truly amazing. You know, what an amazing, you know, experience. And, you know, you had mentioned that the program that you reached out to the counselor, you didn't let that really, stop you. And she said, oh, it's hard to get into this, program. And I think that's amazing and really speaks volumes, even for the listeners, when we do have those challenges and when there's things that are put in our way and those obstacles, not to let it stop you. You looked at it like, oh, this is an opportunity, and you were a go-getter and determined that I'm going to be a part of this program. And then, as a result, you were able to, take that program that you learned, through that experience, with the Bobby, and turn it into, your own freelance business. And so I definitely think that is absolutely amazing. And, from a woman that loves the whole natural, natural beauty, and I definitely love the natural beauty. But I think that, there's some times, too, where we want to, get a little more glamorous,
right.
Whether it's a party or whatever it may be. So that's amazing. So you did mention that you recently relaunched your branding and marketing company as JW Branding Company. Can you share more about, that business and the services that you offer?
Sure. So jwbranding.co really was the hardest one for me to start. And this is the one that the Lord definitely told me that he wanted me to start. I mean, he had told me he wanted me to start all my other businesses as well, but this one in particular. And this one kind of came about because I had Jade Alycia INC, the Glamorous Touch, and then a personal blog. And I did all the branding for that. I did all the website updates always. I always did the website layouts, whatever I needed image-wise, I created it myself. And so he spoke to me and he told me he wanted me to use those skills that I've developed to brand myself and my own brands to help other people who are struggling in branding for their businesses that want like a modern, sleek look. And I was like, okay, I'm nervous about this because I don't know how this is going to go. At that time, I really didn't know much about marketing or branding other businesses. And I really didn't know if there was going to be a demand for that type of service. So I was kind of hesitant. And I took the leap, and I did it, and I launched it. Originally, I did kind of like a soft launch, I guess you would say, because I didn't really market it across my other channels at all. I really wanted it to kind of like figure out how I wanted the image to look. And so that's when I rebranded it this year. And I finally, it was a lot of prayer and stuff, but he finally gave me the vision of what I wanted to do for it. So once he did that, I executed it. And I made sure that it was modern, it was sleek, it was everything I was saying it was, and that the website would reflect that, as well as social media. So I definitely cater to entrepreneurs like myself, small business owners, big business owners, pretty much anyone, a blogger, anybody that really just wants branding redone and made it modern, sleek, up to date, and so that it looks really like it's not outdated and that you're current. And yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you that, you know, as an entrepreneur, business owner myself, that having that branding, you know, that website design and just the overall, you know, brand for your business is so important. You know, when I first started out, I will tell you that I thought that I was going to do my own, you know, website. I didn't know anything about it. So I was like, I'm going to figure this out for myself, and learned that it was extremely difficult. And that's something that, you know, if you don't know how to do it, you need to leave it to the experts and let them do it, because it will literally, you know, wreck your brain trying to figure out everything. And yes, so, you know, that's truly amazing. And it is a huge need, you know, and it is, you know, it takes that skill, you know, to be able to, you know, create that, you know, that modern website, and, you know, to match all the branding. There's so much that goes into it that I don't think we realize, you know, from the colors and the fonts and the layers.
Yeah, the layers. It's crazy. It's so much. It really is. And I think people kind of just think like, oh, well, you know, you have a website. That's nice. And I'm like, but this website has literally taken me like 40-plus hours to do in a week, you know, and then product uploads and then copy and then like description and images and all of that. That's not even added to it yet. You have to make the skeleton first. So definitely.
Absolutely. So I think it's, you know, it's awesome because, you know, like I said, from an entrepreneur that started off thinking, oh, I'm going to do this myself, and then learned that, no, this is, you know, you need to leave this up to the expert. If you want it to be done in a way that, you know, that's going to really model your business and your brand, and it's going to be consistent across the board. So, you know, I would tell any of the listeners that's listening, you know, absolutely, if you can, have someone else, have the experts work on this for you. You'll definitely thank them for it.
Yes,
absolutely.
You definitely will.
So what would you say or was the hardest part of, you know, really getting started, you know, with your businesses?
I would absolutely say the hardest part of getting started was to have the faith that, like, when I launched it, it was me following God's footsteps and that it wouldn't fail, because I just felt like, you know, you start a business, everyone's looking at you, everyone you went to school with is watching you, and you just really want to succeed. And I feel like you get a lot of doubt when you're about to start, like when you're about to launch, you get a lot of doubt, you get a lot of fear, you get a lot of worry. You're like, what if nobody likes this? What if no one's going to comment on this? What if no one's going to follow this page? But surprisingly, I had like so much support from people I wasn't even expecting to, so that was great. But I would definitely say each time it was literally just taking the faith and going out there and starting it.
Absolutely. That is so important, because as you said, you know, you're going to have doubts, you know, with any kind of business, and, you know, you're going to have those bumps and those obstacles and challenges and failures sometimes. But, you know, like you said, you definitely leaned on God and, you know, felt like this was something that he wanted you to do. And if he brought you to it, he's going to bring you through it. And so, you know, and not listening to those naysayers and those people that always have, you know, things to say, want to say, oh, you know, what are you doing? Or, you know, this is not going so good, or just doubting what you're doing. And oftentimes we doubt ourselves. but, not listening to those naysayers. That is so important. So what would you say is the scariest thing that you have done in your business?
So far was definitely doing Fashion Week for Jade Alycia IMC. That was always on my vision board to do. I didn't realize that I would be doing it so soon again.
Wow.
God definitely surprises me. So that was very scary for me because, one, when you do Fashion Week, you are literally going up against the major labels. Like, you are going up against all the American labels, so Stella McCartney, you're going up against all those designer labels that everybody knows, everybody's infatuated with already, and no one knows you at all. So that was scary. And then the fact is that you have to finance all of that yourself, so that was scary in and of itself. So really, that was probably the scariest thing, but that opportunity, doing the Fashion Week, really opened me up for other opportunities afterwards. I was able to do another show in collaborating with 2 other artists, and I also got offered to do an article as an alumni at my college. They wrote a whole article on me, and there were other opportunities that came out of it. So I guess pushing through the fear really did help and opened up doors for me.
And often that is, just so much how, God brings things into our lives to, you have this opportunity and, you feel like, oh, how am I going to get to this? How am I going to do it?
Yeah.
And, it really is that opens up the doors for other things. It's like you had to go through this because this is what I have for you and this is what I'm preparing you for. So that's absolutely amazing. And what such a great opportunity that was able to open up so many other doors for you. So what would you say has been the biggest accomplishment for you up to this point?
I would say the biggest accomplishment would be that I've started 3 businesses. I've been able to maintain 3 businesses and a blog and still create consistent content for all of them on a monthly, weekly, daily basis. I know a lot of people get into entrepreneurship and they get quickly burnt out or they get really unmotivated or, discouraged. And I've been through that, but I still like to fight through it because I always keep my eyes on the bigger picture. So I would definitely say that's one of the biggest accomplishments for myself.
Absolutely. And that is a huge accomplishment to be able to, start 3 businesses and then also maintain them. So I absolutely commend you for that. That's absolutely amazing. And what do you feel has been the number one thing that has helped you build your businesses?
Number one thing, I would say definitely prayer and staying close to God, because He definitely gives you provision for everything. There's a time for everything and there's a place for everything, and I would say that was definitely my number one thing. When I can't think of designs, when I'm stuck, when I don't know when something's supposed to look like, or I don't feel like this is right, so I'm not going to put that out there. I spend time in His presence. I ask Him questions. I seek His face, and I wait to listen. I don't always just talk. I wait to listen to hear what He's going to tell me to do, because He always gives me direction. And I would say that that's really helped me so much when I feel discouraged, when I feel like I'm not doing good enough, or I should be doing better, or, I could be doing more, that type of thing. He always reminds me that, there are steps to everything, and people don't just get to the top, overnight. There's many, many steps and many, many hardships that you don't see behind the scenes that person has gone through for maybe 30 years, And He also reminds me of the fact that, there's a lot of people that I went to school with now that haven't done half as much as I am, so that I shouldn't be so focused on, because to me it's always like I'm always looking at the end picture and I'm not close enough yet. But He's reminded me that, you can't look at it like that, because you have a lot more right now than people that are your age. You've done a lot more than people that are your same age. So you should be happy for where you are and how advanced you are now. Granted, you will hit the end goal, but it might not be as quickly as you want it to transpire.
Absolutely. That's so good. Prayer is so powerful. My goodness. That is so awesome. The empowerment quote for today is, you were put on this earth to achieve your greatest self, to live out your purpose, and to do it courageously, by Steve Maraboli. What does this quote truly mean to you?
This quote means to me that you should always strive to be not your, I don't want to say your best self, because when I think of best self, I think of self-effort. You know, people think of like, your efforts, but it's really not about your efforts. It's about your heart and where your heart is at. And when your heart aligns with your purpose and with God, then everything will fall into place. And then you should go after whatever your calling is, like your life depends on it. You have tunnel vision. So that's what it really means to me, to find out your purpose, because everybody has a purpose on this earth. And it's not just to live life and enjoy and, have no meaning to it. Everyone has a purpose. So once you discover your purpose, you strive for that and you do everything you possibly can until you achieve it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you say is one piece of advice you would give our listeners on how they can empower their own growth and success journey?
One piece of advice I would say is to definitely be patient, because I know a lot when you first start that you might not really see any of your efforts paying off, which can be very discouraging and can play with your mind a little bit. But there are people that watch that don't come at all. There are people that are seeing everything that you do, and they will never like anything that you do. But you will find out through conversation, maybe a couple months down the road, will be like, hey, I really keep it up. You're doing great work. Like, I see your progress. But it might not be immediately. So I would definitely say to be patient and to always remind yourself of what's to come, like what your end goal is, because that will always keep you motivated when you're struggling to grow or you want to be successful and you're not quite there yet. But to always look at your end goal, because that will always help push you when you feel discouraged.
Absolutely. Please share with the listeners what is coming up on the horizon for you.
Okay, so right now I am actually in the middle of designing the fall collection for Jade Alycia INC, which is going to consist of handbags and some matching fascinators. I'm also creating more and more videos for my personal blog, so more of that content will be coming out. And jwbranding.co, we're really trying to work on building our testimonial section. So that is what's coming up for that. There will be some website updates showing our testimonials and our portfolio. And for the Glamorous Touch, that's just kind of an ongoing thing. But I would definitely like to do some more product launches, because right now we have Glamour Gear, which is basically it's for makeup artists and inspiring makeup artists who just want to look glamorous while they're doing their clients' makeup. And so it's T-shirts, totes, hats, clothes that they can wear to make them look cute when they are doing other people's makeup.
Awesome. And please share your some of your social media handles. I know you just mentioned one of them, but if you can share how the listeners can stay connected with you and support your efforts.
Okay, sure. So I'm most active on Instagram on all of them, so I guess I'll just read those off and I'll give you guys the website. So for my fashion brand, Jade Alycia INC, the handle on Instagram is Jade Alycia INC, Alycia spelled ALYCIA. And for the website, it is jadealycia.com. For the Glamorous Touch, the handle is The Glamorous Touch on Instagram. It is also theglamoroustouch.com, and glamorous is spelled GLAMOUROUS. For the Unjaded Journal, that is my personal fashion, beauty, business, and lifestyle blog. That is the Unjaded Journal on Instagram and the unjadedjournal.com. And then there is jwbranding.co for all the marketing and branding, and that is on Instagram, jwbranding.co. And that is also the website, jwbranding.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jade, for sharing your amazing story and journey. I definitely appreciate it and loved hearing, your journey. It was such a pleasure and honor to have you as a guest on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed sharing my story with everybody.
Absolutely. So I want to definitely just take this time to again say thank you, and I wish you much success and blessings as you continue on your journey.
Thank you so much.
Listeners, thank you for tuning in to tonight's show with our special guest, Jade. Jade shared her amazing story and journey to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. And she also shared that it's so important to be patient and remind yourself of your end goal and what is to come. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, starting your own radio show or low-cost advertising, highlighting your book, business, or events, please email envisionedb@empoweronpurpose.com. Please tune in next week where you will hear an amazing story and journey from another leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journeys in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to be your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit empoweronpurpose.com. And remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.